Number 10, the Ford Mustang GT S550 2018 to 2020. The American pony car that refuses to die, and on the used market, it's the cheapest ticket to a real V8 sports car you can find. The S550 Mustang GT swings a 5-liter Coyote V8 punching out 460 horsepower, rocketing from 0 to 60 in just 4.1 seconds with the available 6-speed manual or lightning-fast 10-speed automatic. Ownership economics are where this car becomes a financial weapon. IC Cars pegs 5-year depreciation at just 24%. Annual maintenance lands between $700 and $900, and CarEdge calculates 10-year ownership at $7,830. Less than half what a comparable BMW costs. Every Ford dealer can service it, and the aftermarket runs deep enough to source parts same day. Target post 2018 example specifically because Ford resolved the early MT82 manual transmission complaints by then. Inspect for track abuse and aftermarket tunes. Inside, the cabin offers a 12-inch digital cluster, optional Recaro sports seats, and Sync 3 infotainment that ages gracefully. Used examples now run between $22,000 and $38,000. The cheapest path to genuine V8 ownership on the planet. You've already guessed our number one. 9 out of 10 viewers get it wrong. And the car at the top has been named the most dependable vehicle ever sold in America. Subscribe now because the data doesn't lie. Number 9, the Nissan 370Z, 2016 through 2020. The last samurai of the naturally aspirated V6 sports car and one of the most quietly indestructible performance machines Japan ever exported. Under that long, sculpted hood lives the legendary VQ37 VHR, a 3.7-liter naturally aspirated V6 generating 332 horsepower and screaming to 7,500 RPM, hammering 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. The reliability data is where this car earns financial legend status. RepairPal awards it 4 out of 5 with average annual repair costs of just $504, beating most economy cars. The VQ37 routinely conquers 200,000 miles on basic maintenance, and the CD009 6-speed manual is so bulletproof, tuners pull them out and bolt them onto other builds. Production officially ended in 2020, firming up the depreciation floor. Target 2016 and later examples because Nissan refreshed the interior and tightened build quality. The Nismo trim adds 350 horsepower, retuned suspension, and Akebono brakes. Inspect for drift abuse and aftermarket tunes. The cabin retains the iconic 3-gauge pod, deeply contoured Recaro optional seats, and a tilting cluster. Used examples sit between $15,000 and $30,000 with Nismo trims pushing $35,000. Number 8, the Toyota GR86 and Subaru BRZ 2nd Gen 2023 Plus. The twin sports cars that proved lightweight purity still has a place in 2026. The 2nd generation chassis run a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated FA24 boxer producing 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, sprinting 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds with a 6-speed manual driving the rear wheels. Ownership stress is virtually non-existent. RepairPal data shows annual maintenance around $500, fuel economy clearing 30 miles per gallon highway, and Toyota throws in 2 years of free service. The BRZ retains close to 75% of value over 5 years, one of the strongest scores in the affordable sports car segment. The horizontally opposed engine drops the center of gravity below most Porsches, while a Torsen-limited slip diff and multi-link rear suspension dial in serious agility. Target 2023 and 2024 examples under 25,000 miles with original tires. Inspect for inner tire wear, scraped underbody panels, and aftermarket coilovers, all signs of hard track use. The interior keeps everything purposeful. Analog tachometer, manual handbrake, cloth-bolstered seats, and an 8-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay. Used examples land between $26,000 and $34,000. breaks the 4-second 0 to 60 barrier, it holds its value like a Swiss watch. And our top 3 will change everything you thought about used car depreciation. Number 7, the Chevrolet Camaro SS 1LE 2017 to 2019. GM killed the Camaro after 2024. The used market is finally waking up to what enthusiasts have known for years. The 1LE handling package is one of the greatest American sports car experiences ever engineered. Under the bulging hood sits the 6.2-liter LT1 V8, generating 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque, exploding 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. Discontinuation has firmed up values dramatically. IC Cars shows just 17% 5-year depreciation, beating the Mustang in most trim comparisons. The LT1 shares DNA with millions of GM trucks, meaning parts ship same day from any AutoZone, and any independent shop can service it. Annual maintenance lands around $800. The 1LE adds magnetic ride control, reading the road 1,000 times per second, 6-piston Brembo brakes, and a Torsen differential. Target 2017 and later cars after Chevrolet addressed visibility complaints with redesigned cluster and camera systems. Verify the magnetic dampers aren't leaking and check for track day brake rotor wear. Inside, the 1LE gets aggressive Recaro buckets stitched in suede, a flat-bottom steering wheel, an 8-inch infotainment display, and a head-up display. Used examples sit between $28,000 and $45,000 and climbing. Number 6, the Honda S2000 AP2 2006 to 2009. The Roadster Honda built to celebrate its 50th anniversary and the only car on this list actively appreciating in value. The AP2 generation runs the bulletproof F22C1, a 2.2-liter naturally aspirated VTEC 4-cylinder spinning to 8,000 RPM and producing 237 horsepower, ripping 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds with the legendary 6-speed manual. The financial logic flips here. Haggerty and Classic.com show pristine AP2 examples climbing 5 to 10% annually, meaning buyers are holding an asset, not an expense. Annual maintenance averages $600, and shared civic engineering DNA keeps parts shockingly affordable for a true sports car. The F22C1 routinely conquers 200,000 miles on basic service, and the double wishbone suspension at all 4 corners is genuinely race grade. Target 2006 and later AP2 examples specifically because Honda added torque, reduced rev hang, and improved daily comfort. Inspect for differential wear, soft top condition, and any rev limit banged engines. A leak down test is essential. The cabin remains pure analog purpose. Digital tachymeter dominating the dash, slim-rimmed steering wheel, deeply contoured seats, and the iconic red start button. Used examples now command between $25,000 and $50,000, with collector-grade cars pushing past $60,000. This is where brand loyalty goes to die. Our top 3 ignores every fanboy argument you've ever had and follows the data instead. Comment your pick now before we break some hearts. Number 5, the BMW M2 Competition F87 2019 to 2021. The last truly compact, truly hardcore BMW M car, the spiritual heir to the legendary E46 M3. Beneath that aggressively flared hood roars the S55 inline 6, a 3-liter twin-turbocharged power plant lifted directly from the M3, producing 405 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, detonating 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. The S55 is the secret weapon driving long-term confidence, closed-deck construction, forged internals, upgraded oil sump, and a cooling system designed for track abuse. 5-year depreciation has settled around 30%, putting these cars in the depreciation sweet spot, where the worst loss is absorbed, but CPO inventory remains strong. Annual maintenance runs $1,200 to $1,500 per repair pal, higher than mainstream cars, but well below M3 or M4 ownership. Target 2019 and later competition models specifically because the earlier N55-equipped M2s had documented oil leak and rod bearing issues that BMW resolved with this engine swap. Verify rod bearing health on examples over 50,000 miles, and confirm no warranty-voiding tunes. Inside, the M Competition adds carbon fiber accents, M Sport seats in extended merino leather, a 10.25-inch iDrive display, and the iconic tricolor stitched M steering wheel. Used examples sit between $45,000 and $65,000. Number 4. The Toyota GR Supra MK5, 2021 to 2023. The legend reborn, co-developed with BMW, blessed by Toyota, and quietly becoming one of the smartest used sports car buys on the planet. Under that long, sculpted hood lives BMW's legendary B58 Inline 6, a 3-liter turbocharged power plant producing 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, exploding for 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. This is the ultimate financial loophole, German engineering with Japanese ownership economics. Annual service costs run 30 to 40% lower than equivalent BMW Z4s because any Toyota dealer can perform routine maintenance. The B58 features closed-deck construction, forged internals, and a tuned ceiling easily exceeding 600 horsepower with bolt-ons, meaning factory output represents a relaxed cruise. 5-year depreciation runs 25 to 30%, with end-of-production status already firming up values. Target 2021 and later 3.0 premium examples because Toyota bumped output from 335 to 382 horsepower that year. The 2023 manual is the enthusiast pick, but supply remains limited. The cabin blends BMW's iDrive with Toyota design. An 8.8-inch touchscreen head-up display, sport seats wrapped in Alcantara leather, carbon fiber trim, and a flat-bottom steering wheel. Used examples land between $42,000 and $60,000. Number 3. The Chevrolet Corvette C7 Z06, 2017 to 2019. The most performance per dollar that money can buy, full stop. Lift the hood and you're greeted by the LT4, a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 generating a brutal 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 detonates in 2.95 seconds, and top speed reaches 195. Numbers that match cars costing 3 times more. The ownership math is genuinely shocking. IC Cars puts 5-year depreciation around 27%, and CarEdge calculates 10-year maintenance at $8,300 total, less than half a comparable Porsche. The LT4 shares architecture with millions of GM small blocks, meaning parts are everywhere and any GM dealer can service it. Critical year recommendation, target 2017 and later examples specifically because earlier 2015 and 2016 cars suffered well-documented heat soak issues during track use, which Chevrolet thoroughly resolved with revised cooling, larger heat exchangers, and improved supercharger thermal management. Magnetic Ride Control 2.0 and the optional Z07 package add carbon ceramic brakes and Cup 2 tires. Inspect for track use and aftermarket tunes. The cabin gets a configurable digital cluster, GT2 Sport bucket seats, an 8-inch infotainment display, and a performance data recorder, capturing track sessions in cinema-grade video. Used Z06 examples sit between $55,000 and $80,000. Number 2, the Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4, 2020 to 2022. The Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4.0, 2020 to 2022. The mid-engine masterpiece that purists begged Porsche to build and finally got. Behind the driver sits a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat-six lifted directly from the 911 GT3, producing 394 horsepower and screaming to 7,800 RPM, ripping 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds with the optional 6-speed manual or PDK. The financial logic borders on absurd. IC Cars consistently ranks the 718 Cayman among the best value retention sports cars on the market, with 5-year depreciation around 21 to 22%. RepairPal lists annual maintenance at $1,135, genuinely modest for a premium German sports car. The 4.0 specifically avoids the coolant intrusion concerns documented on early 2.0 and 2.5 turbo flat 4s because it uses the GT3 engine architecture. Mid-engine balance produces 50-50 weight distribution, PASM drops ride height 20mm, and brakes are shared with the 911 Carrera S. Target 2020 and later examples with full Porsche service history. Manual cars command the strongest collector appeal. The cabin features GTS exclusive Alcantara wrapping the steering wheel, gear lever, and seats with bright stitching throughout. A 4.6-inch analog tachometer is flanked by displays running PCM on a 7-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay. Used examples sit between $75,000 and $95,000. Most dependable car ever sold in America. Best value retention of any sports car ever measured, and $1,100 a year to maintain. One car does all three. Hit subscribe because what's next is the end of the debate. Number 1. The Porsche 911 Carrera S 991.2, 2017 to 2019. The undisputed king. Tucked behind the rear axle sits the 991.2's 3-liter twin-turbocharged flat-six, producing 420 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, detonating 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds with PDK and reaching a 191-mile-an-hour top speed. Every reliability and depreciation study ever conducted points to the same conclusion. J.D. Power has named the 911 the most dependable vehicle sold in the entire United States. Not the most dependable sports car, the most dependable car of any kind. IC Cars and KBB rank it as the best value retention sports car ever measured, with 5-year depreciation under 20%. RepairPal estimates annual maintenance at just $1,100. CarEdge puts 10-year ownership at $18,200 total. Target 2017 and later 991.2 cars specifically, because the earlier 991.1 used naturally aspirated engines with higher service complexity. The 991.2's twin-turbo flat-six is fundamentally simpler and more reliable. And the IMS bearing concerns plaguing older 911s have zero relevance here. Inspect PDK fluid intervals and PASM damper health. The cabin is sports car perfection. A 10.9-inch infotainment touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, GT Sport steering wheel, 18-way adaptive sport seats wrapped in leather, and the iconic central tachometer. Used examples land between $75,000 and $110,000. And 5 years from now, you can sell yours for nearly the same money. Biggest argument we're expecting in the comments: should the Corvette Z06 have beaten the 911? Did the S2000 deserve a higher spot? And which car did we leave off of the list entirely? Drop your take below, and we'll see you in the next one.